me share the presentation regarding the topic managing multi-generation in a workplace. So I titled this presentation, This Age Matter, because as we go along with the discussions, we will be able to see and identify certain differences, certain advantages, disadvantages, as well as issues that are being faced by people as they go along with the different sets of age groups which they could have probably encountered in their workplace. Before I begin, kindly let me know that we are together as you type in the chat box the answer to the question, how are you today? Okay, so please utilize your chat box. I want to see your answers. How are you feeling? I hope everybody is fine. I hope you are enjoying your Saturday afternoon as well. Okay. It's nice to see you are feeling good, feeling great. You are fine. And at the same time, some are saying they're feeling happy today, feeling cool. Yes, it's nice to see you again, Ma'am Joveline. So it's very happy that we are together again in this set of discussion. Okay, so next, since we are talking about the age group, so there will be no discrimination here. I would really appreciate it if you will answer the second question that I have. I would just like to know, I will rephrase it. Instead of saying, how old are you? I would ask, how young are you? Ayan, gaano po tayo kabata? Ayan. So I'm seeing great numbers here, 28, 29, nearing 40, 55, 35, 52. Ayan, we have somebody from 20s, 30s, 40s, life begins. Meron dito, life begins at. Ayan. And then others are 50. So you could see that the participants in the webinar for this afternoon really come from varied age groups. And that's a good thing because we are going to see some differences, compare similarities, and things about this. And thank you for sharing your age. I really appreciate that. So before I continue with my discussion, feeling great at 52. Of course, we should be happy and proud as we reach the certain age. Yung mga nagsasabi na, ay matanda na, di ba? Ganun yung iba. Ay tumatanda na ako. That's how they see age. Remember, the more we age, the more we are blessed because it means we are given with another year, another life, and it means there is still a lot here on earth that we could be experiencing. And ayaw po ba natin noon mahaba ang ating buhay? Ibig sabihin, marami pa tayong pagpapala at marami pa tayong misyon gagampanan. Okay? So before I proceed on with the slides, I would like to share this quick video. This video will give us an overview or an understanding about the topic which we will further expand later on. So tignan po natin ito.
Workplace. Hi, I'm John and I've been an HR manager for many years now. It may surprise some to know that there are as many as 5 generations working at a single workplace. With workplaces being more age diverse than ever before, it's important to remember that different generations have different needs. With several generations working side by side, it's essential to consider how their typical work styles and needs might differ since each generation has distinct experiences and perspectives, especially when it comes to technology. With the right insights, though, you can give individuals the right tools to maximize productivity and get your teams collaborating more effectively. Generation 1, Traditionalists. People are retiring later today, and there are still many people born before 1945 still working. Traditionalists are civic-minded and loyal. They're team players. They tend to stick with one employer for as long as possible. They like to work as part of a structured team, with a focus on longer-term projects, and although they're not afraid of technology, they tend to rely more on desktop computers, landline phones, and fax machines. Traditionalists need robust voice capabilities and traditional desktop applications to be more productive. Generation 2, Baby Boomers. While baby boomers tend to stay in the same field for longer than millennials, they switch employers more than traditionalists. Boomers focus on individual performance and are driven, with their identity defined by their profession, and they care deeply about climbing the organizational ladder. Baby boomers are less likely to use social media at work or use smartphones compared to younger generations. This generation relies heavily on email, so make sure your organization is equipped with proper email tools to allow this generation to be more productive. Generation 3, Generation X. Gen X has begun to replace boomers in managerial positions in recent years, and they're more independent than their predecessors, value authority less, and are more likely to walk away from an inflexible workplace. Since this generation embraces technology in the workplace, including smartphones, email, laptops, and tablets, it's essential to implement video conferencing and team-based digital workspaces to meet their flexibility requirements. Generation 4, Millennials. This generation is the driving force of today's workplace, and they crave interaction, feedback, and collaboration, and are even more informal than Gen X. Millennials are strongly driven by a sense of purpose and crave continuous workplace learning and growth. Since this generation grew up fully immersed in digital technology, text, IM, and social are their primary modes of communication. This generation prefers to communicate electronically, so make sure you implement the proper tools to allow them to do this. Generation 5, Generation Z. This generation is just beginning to enter the workforce, but is the largest cohort of the US population and the most ethnically diverse. This generation is fast-paced, and they tend to be independent and competitive. Most of this generation's job decisions are based on how tech-savvy a workplace is, but they also prefer face-to-face communication at work. This generation appreciates technology that provides a personal experience like video meetings. Now that you know how to make each generation in your workplace more productive while catering to their unique preferences, you're ready to make all generations in your organization work seamlessly together. If you want to learn more about how to manage 5 generations in the modern workplace, click the link below for more information.
Okay, so that is an overview of the topics that we're going to discuss for this afternoon. And as you have watched the video, I hope you were able to picture yourself and recall what is the setup in the current workplace you are in, because it would really give a better understanding on things when we connect it with the actual situation. So to continue with, may I know what do you love about your workplace? Ayan, please type in the chat box. Ano po bang gusto ninyo or mahal ninyo sa inyong mga pinagtatrabahuan? For other people, they would be saying they love the people they're working with. Others would say they like the compensation that they are receiving. Others would say they love the students since most of the people or the participants are educators. Others would say they love their colleagues, they love their workplace. Kayo po ba, ano yung gusto ninyo? Ayan. Co-teachers, environment, the students. Ayan. So as educators, we are really very close to our students' hearts. And we could really say, no, that mostly our students are also our motivations why we strive our best to report to the office every day. Ayan, meron po dito yung kanyang mga tenants daw. And then other had mentioned they love everything about it or all about it. So it's a good thing. We really have to identify something that we love and appreciate, because that one thing could really give us the motivation and the enthusiasm to continue with the everyday struggles of our life. Kasi hindi naman po ganun kadaling magtrabaho. Lalo ngayon, we are really facing challenges the COVID-19 pandemic really challenged the education and the health sector. Maraming nagkakasakit, maraming nagkakandahawaan, and then we had resumed with face-to-face classes. In my case po, I was isolated for 7 days kasi nag-positive na naman po ako for the second time. So, it doesn't stop us from loving our work. Di po ba? So, what are we going to talk about? As you could see here, the first one, of course, we will be defining what multi-generational workplace is. Okay, although it had been mentioned earlier, you already have an understanding of this. We'll have a greater or a deeper discussion of it. The next is getting to know the different generations. We'll talk about their characteristics, their likes, their dislikes, or their preferences. And at the same time, with all those information, we could adjust how are we going to deal with the people as we relate with them in our workplace. Also, as we identify their needs, we would understand more bakit pa siya ganito. Mas mauunawaan din natin na, ay oo nga, kaya pala, ganito ang behavior niya. Ay, ito pala yung pangangailangan niya. We would understand what kind of capacity building are we going to provide for these people. Okay? And then the third would be, what are the benefits of multi-generations? Of course, if there are benefits, there will also be conflicts or what we could say about the challenges. Sa lahat naman po ng areas, we could be challenged at the same time. And of course, the last part would be effective management. So I could see an answer here that what motivates or what do you love about your work is good support and empowerment from your boss or your higher ups. Well, that's really one good thing to love about our work. We want a holistic environment that will provide not only our professional growth, but something that will also take care of our mental health and at the same time our physical health. Kaya po holistic yung ating gusto. And that's a good thing if your boss is really supportive about your endeavors. So let's begin with the first one. The definition. It would mean that a workforce is composed of different sets of employees that come from different generations. And these different generations have these different terminologies, such as the traditionalists, the baby boomers, the Generation X, millennial, and Generation Z. And in the coming years, we are expecting that potentially works of people comprising of these different teams would be really existing or would be really coming from different generations at the same time. Ito po, sa kaninang assessment natin ng mga edad, merong 20s, may 30s, may 40s, may 50s. So makikita po natin with those different years of difference or gap in the age, sa isang buwan nga po maraming nangyayari. How much more po sa 10 taon? Then definitely, there will be differences or there could be some similarities that might overlap. But the most important thing there is that we could really see that there is a need to adjust certain modifications, certain strategies, or certain areas that we need to carry out so that we could ensure that the workplace is running effectively, particularly in the school, since ang setup po natin dito is in the education. So the generation into which one is born is an important factor or an important determinant of personal characteristics. Kita po natin yan, di ba? We know na kapag may age gap, sabi nga po natin, minsan when you are looking for a partner, other people would say, ay, wag masyadong malaki yung age gap ninyo kasi baka mamaya mahina na yung physical na katawan niya, ikaw malakas pa. papaano yun? Baka magkaproblema kayo. Another thing, pag magkaiba daw yung age gap at malayo ang difference, magkaiba yung mga likes and dislikes ninyo. Baka siya ay mahilig pang pumarty, ikaw you prefer to stay at home. Di po ba? Same thing with the educators. There are educators who are very traditional in their teaching that uses the blackboard. They really write everything. But others who would prefer, okay, I'll prepare a PowerPoint presentation at ito ang ifa-flash kong lessons. Others who would like to use index cards, di po ba, as a way of checking attendance and taking a look at the names of the students with pictures. Others would use their class record, handwritten notes. Others would use Excel or any other applications to compute the grades of the students. So you could see there are differences with regards to the age. Di po ba? So the personal characteristics are really great determinants to be identified so that we could adjust the necessary things we would need to provide in the workplace. And of course, each individual is different. However, generational trends tend to shape ideas on big picture issues. We include here the values of teamwork and the relationship between the individual as well as the society as well. So, generations can also be thought of as age cohorts or groups of individuals who share similar experiences. Okay? So here we proceed with the 5 generations. We have the traditionalists, narinig po natin kanina yung mga characteristics nila. So, they are dependable, they are straightforward, tactful, and loyal. Ang sabi nga po, di ba? They would prefer to be staying in a company for a long time. They would be serving in the company for a long time. So, they are motivated by respect, recognition, and providing long-term value to the company. In my case, there are a lot of other employees during awarding ceremonies ng university po namin they are awarded 20 years in service, 35 years in service, 45 years in service. Ganun po katagal. Kitang-kita natin na they really chose and preferred to stick to the company. Ayan. So, communication style. They value personal touch. They want meeting people face-to-face. Pupuntahan po. Mas gusto nilang pinupuntahan. Mas gusto nilang kausap ng kaharap nila. And then, they would be preferring handwritten notes instead of email. Well, considering the number of years, di po ba, nung time na yan, hindi pa naman din kasi ganun karampant ang computers. Dati po nga, di ba, ay typewriters pa yung ginagamit. At pagkatapos, of course, the technology during that time is not yet as advanced as what we have right now. And so people would have this tradition of utilizing papers and writing them. Even for traditional teachers, di po ba yung stereotype na itsura ng teacher, lalo kapag babae, nakapusod ang buhok, nakasalamin, very formal talaga yung kanyang outfit, tapos maraming hawak na papel kasi yung mga lessons niya, yung mga exams ng mga bata, and some of the visual aids as well could be utilized. Di po ba? That's part of their communication style. So the worldview, obedience over individualism. They are very loyal. Tandaan po natin ito. And age equals seniority. And they believe that people are advancing through hierarchy. Minsan may encounter po tayo na companies, either industry or academe, they would say, sino pong magiging next principal natin? O kaya, sino po ang next na chairperson or dean? So, sasabihin nila, ito sa age na gap nilang, sa age na ganito, ito yung mga nakahilera dyan. So, probably sila na yung next in line. Di po ba? Because they would really consider the age as one of the factor for the seniority or the hierarchy, which is sometimes a challenge, di po ba? And then, employers should provide satisfying work and opportunities to contribute, as well as establish or emphasize stability. Kasi ayan po ang isa sa nakaka-attract sa mga traditionalists, stability. Okay? Kasi nga okay po sa kanila na magtagal sa company for a long periods of time. Ayan. So, they are silent generation. Lagi nga pong in-emphasize that they prioritize stability. Most loyal. They really have a strong work ethic. They rarely question authority kasi nga po it has been mentioned that they observe obedience over individualism. Although there could be troubles with technology, but like what I have said, yung setup nga po nung time na yan, technology is not as advanced as what we have right now. Okay? So, next we have the baby boomers. As you could see here, their characteristics, they are optimistic, they are competitive, they are workaholic, as well as team-oriented. Ayan. So, what motivates them? One is company loyalty, teamwork, as well as duty. So, in comparison with the traditionalist, as to communication style, baby boomers would utilize whatever is most efficient. They would be adjusting. It could be either phone calls or it could also be face-to-face. Isipin din po natin ng mga panahong ito, hindi pa rin naman po ganon kauso yung mga cellphones, di po ba? Merong mga telephones na talagang naka-install pa, yun pa nga yung mga ibang iniikot yung digits, di po ba, para makapag-dial ka or unti-unti yung napipindot yung mga keypads doon sa telepono mismo. But the cellular phone, hindi pa rin naman po yan widely used during that time. Okay? For their worldview, achievement comes after paying one's dues, sacrifice for success. So employers should provide them with the specific goals and deadlines, put them in mentor roles, as well as offer coaching style feedback. Okay? So they emerged from the post-World War II in particular, from civil movements. That's why, in comparison with traditionalists, the traditionalists are very obedient. Here, they would ask questions. Okay? They are open in communication as well. They are optimistic, yet they could have a sense of rebellious kasi nga po, as part of the World War II, people are more empowered. Di po ba? Post-World War II, they are more empowered. And if they find something which is not that very accepted, since hindi naman po kagaya ng traditionalists na sige, okay lang, they are very obedient, then here they could question, they could ask, they could inquire. And at the same time, they also like, of course, respected positions. Okay? So next is the Generation X. So here, makikita po natin yung year, 1965 to 1980. In the age group you have mentioned, you could identify saan po ba tayong generation nakasali. Okay? Here, they are flexible, they are informal, skeptical, as well as independent. Okay? So here, they are shaped or they are motivated by diversity. Ayan, diversity po Work-life balance, personal professional interest, rather than the company's interest. Okay? So same thing, communication style, what is most efficient, what is available, it could be phone calls, it could be face-to-face. And for their worldview, they favor diversity. Diversity means it's more open to different sets of people coming from different race. They are quick to move on if their employer fails to meet their needs. Ayan, compared po sa traditionalista, no? Na talagang they would be staying in the company for a longer period of time. Here, in the case of the Generation X, they are open to explore other opportunities outside. And they are resistant to change at work if it affects their personal lives. Ayan. So, what should employers observe here? Give them immediate feedback, provide flexible work arrangements and work-life balance, as well as extend opportunities for personal development. So, ang highlighting characteristics ng people belonging in the Generation H is that they are valuing flexibility. So here people are also considered as street smart. They are fiercely independent. And ito po yung time na nauso yung mga music, televisions, yung mga napapanood nating music videos, yung mga kanta na nilalagyan ng mga music videos, the MTV generation. So also, this is the onset of technology. Okay? So unti-unti umaangat yung level ng technology, then resources are more readily available for the people in this generation. And these people are also driven by results. Next, so marami po ditong kasama rin sa millennials. So as you could see here, they are competitive. They are civic and open-minded. At the same time, they are achievement-oriented. O paramihan ng certificate, paramihan ng recognitions, di po ba? Ayan. They are motivated by responsibility, the quality of their manager, unique work experiences. Ayan. So, makikita po natin dito, since nag-onset na rin sa kaninang generation, ayan, sa Generation X ang technology, since dito, the technology had been more advanced. That's why, look at the communication style. IMs, kung naaalala nyo pa yung Yahoo Messenger, di po ba? Nakagamit po ba kayo noon? Ayan. And then, text and email. So, hindi na yung traditional na paper na itatype, di po ba? Na isusulat. Ngayon, may email na. So, worldview. Seeking challenge, growth and development, a fun work life and work-life balance. They are likely to leave the organization if they don't like change. So, employers should get to know them personally. They are managed by results and they have to be flexible on their schedule and work assignments, and same thing, provide feedback. Okay? So if you could see 15% millennials ages 25 to 35 are living at home with their parents. Here in the Philippines, I think, no, since nandun pa rin tayo sa conservative country and we value family ties, we are still with the setup of being with our parents, especially kung hindi pa naman po mag-asawa or may asawa. While others, even they are married, they are living with their parents. Kagaya nga po yung mga children, di ba? Kasama pa rin yung grandparents nila. So, but in other countries, particularly in Western countries, when the child reaches the age of 18, they would be moving out of the house. They'll be building their own life. They will be working while they are studying, and they have to finance themselves and support themselves. So, very different din po yung setup. So, it depends also on which country or which region is the person is situated. Here, millennials are technology-wise. Okay, they also value achievement. They have an active lifestyle. kung makikita po natin, usong-uso rin yung mga pag-gym, usong-uso rin yung mga pagta-travel, 'di po ba? And itong mga millennials na 'yan ay very much into this. They're competitive in nature kasi sometimes the millennials would feel na, okay, kahit mas bata kami, we have something to prove. Gano'n kasi minsan yun ang thinking kaya po nagkakaroon ng clash. Kasi yung mga nasa older generation, of course, it's really true that they really laid the foundations and the success of a certain unit or a certain group. Siyempre sila po yung mga pioneers dyan. The ideas, the hard works, the efforts really originated from them. However, we have to be open kasi as the world ages, there are advances also in the technology na alam ng mga bagong papasok. We have to remember that. And even though we were there even before, our minds should have the thinking that there are still a lot to be known. There are still a lot to be improved. We as educators should always feel and should always think that we are responsible for nourishing our minds with the latest trends and technology. Kailangan po natin yun. Meron po kasing iba, I'm not generalizing, but this really happens. Baka na-experience nyo rin po ito. Merong ibang mga nasa traditionalist age group or sa baby boomers na age group or sa Gen X na age group, sasabihin nila, ay ganito yan. Nung panahon ko ganito, ganyan. Oh, bata pa yan, marami pang kakaining bigas yan. Well, that could be true. But we should not close our minds from what we could learn from the new group. Ito na mga batang ito, they should always take a look at what had happened in the past because that will really give a better understanding of what is currently happening to add on to the new knowledge that you know. Okay? Walang magmamayabang. Kaya yung ibang mga nasa elder generations, they do not want to mingle with some of the young ones. Hindi naman po lahat ha, cases lang. Kasi yung ibang mga nasa mga batang generation, hindi rin marunong makipag-deal ng maayos sa mga nakakatanda sa kanila, which is something we have to avoid. Okay? Kaya nga po inaalam natin kung ilang taon, we are also adjusting to how we treat people. Of course, when you speak with somebody, whether you know him or you do not know him, whether you are just colleagues or professionals or you are friends, there are ways on how we address people in our workplace. Di po ba? At alam natin dapat paano natin ibabagay yung ating mga sarili. Kahit mas matanda yan sa atin, kahit mas bata yan sa atin, or kahit kaidaran lang natin yan. Okay? Para hindi po nagkaroon ng clash ang mga attitudes at mga behaviors. Okay? So, ganun po yung ibang nangyayari. And that's what we could really observe. So, millennials also are fast and immediate in processing kasi nga may technology na nakakatulong po for carrying out the tasks that they have. Okay? And then here we have the Gen Z. They are global, entrepreneurial, progressive, and less focused. So, they are motivated by great diversity, personalization, individuality, creativity. Bakit here we have entrepreneurial? Kasi po, as you could see nowadays, many of the people would want to have their own business. They would really say na hindi kaya yaman kung talagang empleyado ka lang. You should have your own business. Di po ba? That's why they would be thinking, okay, after I finish studying, I will try to start up my own company. I will try to start up my own business. And that's an entrepreneurial nature that they have in mind. Okay? So, may iba rin ang thinking nila, ayokong maging empleyado lang habang buhay, gusto ko ako yung founder, gusto ko ako yung nagmamanage, di po ba? And they are motivated also. As you could see, the communication style is IMs, text, and social media. Kasi hindi na lang po text and call, meron pa tayong mga social media like Messenger, WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, and many other stuff. Okay? So, ayan po ay na-utilize. Lalo ngayon, we are having global, or we could say internationalization. Even in education po, we are partnering with international universities or education institutions abroad, di po ba? We partner with them in order to broaden our perspective about education. Kasi the sharing of the best practices, it's like a benchmarking, and what we could adopt in the practices that they have are also essential things so that we could extend our learnings, not only limited to our country. And from what we are learning in the other country, this is also one way of showcasing our culture. That's why we have the faculty exchange and the student exchange, because it will really widen our perspectives on many things and thus will further contribute to education. So, worldview, self-identity as digital device addicts, value independence and individuality. They prefer to work with millennial managers, innovative workers, and new technologies. Bakit millennial managers? Siyempre, mas magkalapit po sila ng age gap. Kahit pa paano, nagkakaintindihan po sila ng mga attitudes. Di po ba? So, they heavily rely on technology. Di po ba? Hindi yan bubuhay ng walang wifi or walang internet connection kasi kahit yung pera ay nasa GCash, nasa bangko, when they will be spending, they will just say, okay, what's the QR code? How could I transfer money? Di po ba? You will notice that. Minsan sa traditionalists, they want to pay in cash. They always hold cash with them. But for these people, they could really go out kahit walang hawak na cash on hand. Di po ba? Ayan. So employers should offer opportunities to work on multiple projects at the same time, provide work-life balance, allow them to be self-directed, as well as independent. So they are digital integrators. They are also globally focused. Lalo po ngayon, usong-uso na ang mga work online. Even the company or even the school is based in other country. You could be teaching. Like in our university, the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, meron po kaming special lectureship program. What we do here is we invite foreign lecturers from other countries to be paired up with a Filipino faculty, and then they will be doing a team teaching in a certain subject for some sections in a semester. So makikita po natin na yung faculty from outside the country, yung foreigner, makakapagturo po siya ng local faculty or ng local students na nandito sa atin. So you could see globally focused, right? We really extend our knowledge and our learnings on not just only here in our country, but even outside the world because of the help of technology, like what we are doing right now. Even though we are not in the same place physically, virtually we are connected. So we learn from each other at the same time. We integrate the learnings that we have and we utilize this technology. They are savvy consumers. They are socially defined. They have also crave stability and they have a strong entrepreneurial drive. Okay, mga gusto talagang, lalo ngayong pandemic po, even for some teachers, they have started to think of how could they innovate products or other services that they could do. Yung iba po ay nagkaroon ng mga food businesses, yung iba ay mga chocolates or sweets, candle making, ayan. It's very varied po. And that shows the strong entrepreneurial drive of these individuals. Now, let's proceed on with the benefits. Ayan. Ano po yung magandang bagay na meron kapag we have a multi-generational workplace? So here, problem-solving abilities, unique relations, and knowledge transfer retention, and multiple perspectives. Tignan niyo po. If you belong in different age groups, you have personal experiences in life. With these personal experiences, and since you existed in different times, in different generations, there are different things which you have encountered uniquely. Merong mga naka-encounter ng martial law, for example. Merong hindi. Merong naka-encounter ng ang ginagamit pa ay acetate sa pagtuturo. May naka-encounter ng purely sulat. May naka-encounter ng projector na. May naka-encounter din ng smartboard na. Take a look. Those differences will give you multiple perspectives. Di po ba? So, if you will be given a topic about efficient teaching methodologies and strategies, o sasabihin ng isa, syempre maganda pa rin yung sinusulat mo habang nile-lecture mo. Natatandaan kasi ng mga bata, tas inaalaw mo din silang magsulat. Then somebody would say, yes, that would be nice, but learning would be more easily retained when you have visual aids and when you show them videos. And at the same time, when you utilize pictures, then we could make use of the PowerPoint presentations. Di po ba? O, mag-laptop lang tayo, mag-projector tayo, and that will be useful. Okay? O sabi ng isa, okay, those are good things, but since we have the smartboard, we could combine what you have in mind. O, pwede kang magsulat habang nagpapalabas ka ng video sa kalahati ng screen, right? And from that, you could show your videos, you could show your PowerPoint presentations, you could show your pictures. So take a look. You are getting a lot of perspectives coming from the experiences of the people within the age group. And here, we have the term reverse or cross-generational mentoring because it gives junior employees the chance to educate the mature workers or those belonging in the earlier generation with their familiarity with the current trends in technology. Aminin po natin at sa hindi, kahit ako rin naman po, nung bigla tayong nag-online, lahat kabado gumamit ng Zoom, ng Google Meet, at ng kung ano-ano pa pong platform, di po ba? We are thinking, maririnig kaya ako ng estudyante ko? Pag nag-share screen kaya ako, tama yung maifa-flash ko, baka may ibang bumulaga sa mga estudyante ko. O kaya naman, if I share a video, will they hear the sound? Paano kayang gagawin ko? How will I admit the students in the meeting room? So, at first we were so anxious about it because it's the first time we have experienced it. Kahit nga yung iba pong mga belonging in the earlier generation, they would say it's really challenging kasi hindi nga ako nagko-computer, pati nga yung class record ko are manual. Di po ba? You could see that it's really a challenge for them. But of course, it did not stop people from learning more. Okay? So, nagpatuloy po yun at unti-unting mas natuto ang mga tao. But for others, it really caused them great anxiety. May iba pong mga nag-quit na sa kanilang mga trabaho, nag-early retirement, or nag-change ng career. Okay? Because of the pressure which they have encountered. Ganun din naman po sa ating mga estudyante. On the other side, there could be conflicts or challenges, communication issues. One teacher or one employee loves to write and he would make notes or write things he likes related to work and submit or send it to other co-teacher. O sasabihin ng isa, text mo na lang para mas mabilis, para hindi rin sayang. However, di po ba, there are instances na hindi yun yung preferred means ng communication niya. Sabihin, ay wala akong receiving copy kasi pag text. Pwedeng ma-deny kasi kapag text, hindi ako sigurado. Right? And then, what else? In the release of notice of meetings, memorandum orders, others would say, bakit bigla na lang mag-meeting nang walang notice na nire-release? Di po ba? Others would say, it should be a protocol that our meetings are recorded, our meetings are given a good announcement or dissemination, hindi yung bigla-bigla na lang nagpapatawag. Kasi po ngayon sa bilis ng technology, if people would like to meet like right now, they will just simply call or text or even chat. Di po ba? Sa Messenger, kahit nga Messenger ginagamit sa workplace gagawa pa ng GC, di po ba, ng group chat. At sabihin, let's meet, emergency meeting today at ganitong oras. So you could see, people who do not like such kind of communication would say that's very informal. Others might think it's unethical. Kailangan meron tayong black and white kapag nagre-release tayo ng meeting and ini-schedule yan in advance. Di ba? So, that could be an issue when your attitude towards communication is not at par with your other co-employees, there could be some challenge. Okay? Negative stereotyping. Paano naman po ito? So sa negative stereotyping, kagaya po ng example ko kanina, yung mga nasa early generation na iinis sa mga bata, sabihin ay pabida yan. Di po ba? Yung mga bata naman sasabihin, porket matagal na to dito or porket matanda na to, akala mo kung sino. So those are some of the negative stereotypes which we should avoid doing. If we are well versed with the attitudes, the needs, and the characteristics of the people, whatever in age group they are belonging, we would be avoiding to have this negative stereotyping. Our main concern is learning every day, learning from people we encounter, and making ourselves a better version of ourselves as a person. Di po ba? Okay. Workplace values. Nakita nyo kanina sa ibang mga age group, they value flexibility. Kaya nga rin nauso yung mga work from home, dahil din sa condition natin ngayon, ano pa, yung flexible time in and time out na kapag pumasok ka ng 8:05, pwede kang mag-out kunwari sa hapon ng 5:05. Di po ba? Or others could say, if I could do it remotely, then I'll just do it wherever I may be. Kaso may mga trabaho, di po ba, na hindi talaga uubra yun. Like in teaching, if we are required to meet our students face-to-face, then we have to do that. Okay? Yung iba, sige, we are going to meet at 7 a.m. Yung iba, 6:30 pa lang nandun na yan. Right? Because they really value the time. And they want, when you say it's 7 o'clock, you'll start at exactly 7 o'clock. Which is, ganun naman po talaga dapat. However, in the Philippines, maybe you could have experienced this. When people say it's 7 o'clock, 7 pa lang magbubukas yung venue. Unti-unti pa lang dumadating yung mga tao at may mga konting delays. Di po ba? And minsan nakakainis kasi lalo kung ikaw yung early bird na talagang ganon yung work ethic mo or yung value mo kapag may oras, tas yung iba ay hindi yan inu-observe. Right? In my case po, I have learned to be punctual kasi in the International Affairs Office, when we deal with foreign partners, foreign meetings, when we say we'll start at 2 o'clock, they would be really there. And when it's 2 o'clock, you start the discussion right away. Ayun po yung isa sa mga bagay na natutunan ko. Kahit na they are coming from an elderly group or you're coming with the same age group as mine, that's one thing which I have observed. At kapag ginagawa ko na po yun dito sa ating country, sometimes it's challenging. Kasi may iba na hindi pa rin talaga ganun yung thinking. I am not sure what's your experience on that. Baka nakakaranas din po kayo noon. Okay? Ano po ba? Ano pa? Others, especially traditionalists, would like, where is the agenda for the meeting? Kailangan, prior to the meeting, they have the copy of the agenda so that they could identify what are we going to talk about and they could really prepare what are the things needed. Which is right, tama naman po. Kasi even me, I would prefer that. Right? But others, magpapatawag lang bigla-bigla that they do not have this set of agenda. Paano kung sa iba ay okay lang yun, sa iba ay hindi? Nagkakasimula yung pagkainis natin. We tend to look for our qualities which are not being possessed by the other people. And from those expectations, there could be some conflicts or challenges as to the differences in our behaviors. Di po ba? So those are some concerns. And then another is an autonomy versus teamwork. Because other employees would love to work alone, quietly by themselves. Remember po sa traditionalist, tatapusin ko to afterwards, sige, aalis na ako. But for others, they want group work. They want teamwork. And here, varying employee expectations. Ano po ba yung expectation nitong taong ito? Ano yung expectation ng grupong ito? Kasi, paano nagkaiba expectations? Definitely kasi magkakaiba po yan ng priorities. They have different sets of priorities because they belong to different age groups. There could be some teachers who prefer to hang out with their co-teachers or their colleagues after their classes. But others would prefer to go home straight because they prioritize their family. Yung iba naman, they would be rushing to go out kasi they would love to go to the gym. Others would like to stay in the library or in their classrooms to fix things or to arrange and prepare their lesson plans or even prepare the classroom for tomorrow's class. Di po ba? So, if you have different expectations as well, if you have different priorities, nagkaka-conflict yan. Kasi pag minsan nagpatawag ng meeting o all teachers from this age group or from this level, handling this level, we will have a meeting at 5 o'clock. Alam mong pag 5 automatic umuwi ka. Ayaw mo nang magtagal doon sa workplace. Pero yung iba, okay lang, sige, chill lang, makikipagkwentuhan pa rin naman ako eh. Hindi pa rin naman ako uwi. So, if there are differences of that, then there could be conflict if they are not satisfying to the people in the workplace. Di po ba? Tapos yung iba natatag, ay hindi marunong makisama yan. Hindi marunong makihalubilo yan. Di po ba? Hindi nga sumasama pag lumalabas kami eh. Paano po kung hindi naman yun yung preferred niya? Paano kung ang preference ng co-teacher mo na yon ay magstay ng bahay, umuwi ng maaga? Hindi naman din siya gaanong nag-e-enjoy na pumarty sa labas or hindi siya nag-e-enjoy na makihalubilo or makipagkwentuhan. Di po ba? So, those are some of the things that we could see as their differences. So, effective management of multi-generational workplace. Problems in managing generational workplace could arise from misunderstandings. So, misunderstandings in the sense that we have discussed a while ago. Ano pa? Delivery ng lecture. Ay, dapat ganito, sabi ng isang teacher. Dapat ganito mo yan dinideliver. Iba yung nasa isip ng isa. I think this is a better way of delivering it. Instead na magpakita ka lang ng mga stories sa kanila, you have to act it out so that the students will understand it more considering that they are young. So ayan, nagtalo na sila kasi hindi sila parehas ng pag-attack dun sa pagturo ng specific topic na yun. Each generation can have its own preferences and expectation when it comes to completing job responsibilities as well. Siyempre, kanya-kanya rin naman po tayo ng preferences. And we have our different ways of solving problems, addressing issues, and dealing on with different situations that we encounter. Di po ba? And since each generation can have different preferred communication method, that could also be a challenge kapag hindi po nagmamatch. So how do we attract and retain these different generations in the workplace? For traditionalists, stressing fundamentals can help companies attract and retain employees from this generation. They would love to feel they're paid enough fairly for a job. So, ideal workplace provide offline options. Usually, gusto nila nandun sila sa site. Kaya po, offline options. And they want a face-to-face interaction. Management, encourage them to share their knowledge and expertise. At the same time, the benefits, the silent generation may be focused on healthcare and other benefits. Ayan, kasama po si healthcare, retirement benefits. They may be working to build a pension from a long-term employment. Kaya rin hindi po nagre-resign yung iba kasi gusto nila when they retire, malaki yung kanilang makukuhang pension. For the baby boomers, they would be more comfortable with traditional recruiting processes that include formal resumes and holding face-to-face interviews as well. And then they aren't usually looking to job hop, so job security is appealing to them. They may appreciate a more formalized, structured environment than younger generations would. Lalo po yung traditionalist, di po ba? Sa pananamit pa lang alam natin kung anong age group ani kasi makikita naman din. Even of the songs, di po ba? Even the pagmarimar, di po ba? Yung si Talia mismo, hindi po yung remake ni Marian Rivera. Alam natin kung anong age group yan kadalasan kasi alam naman natin kung kailan na ipalabas yung telenovela yun, di po ba? Pati mga tugtugan. Ayan, pag mga Sunday na songs, yung mga pinapatugtog sa radyo, yung mga classics, minsan nagbibiruan tayo, alam na yung edad, napapaghalataan, di po ba? Same thing for the teachers, we could really see those things. And how they handle the students or the kids. Kasi bawat edad na yan, kanya-kanyang paglalambing yan sa mga estudyante, kanya-kanyang pag-attack yan. How will they deliver their lectures? How will they get the hearts of their students? Okay? Management, they are a great source of knowledge about their industry and appreciate the chance to share their expertise. So, benefits, they would consider stability or staying on the job longer if they are offered reduced schedules, the option of working from home and alternate working hours as well. So Generation X, they are comfortable with using technology and online recruitment and hiring tools, but they are also comfortable with face-to-face interactions. So ideal workplace, they prefer flexibility to manage their workload as well as greater physical and psychological space. For management, they prefer less supervision kasi they are independent as well. They want greater autonomy when it comes to completing their job responsibilities, and they can be comfortable using various forms of communication, both online and in person. So, they raise their families. As they raise their families, they are very particular with healthcare coverage. Kaya yung mga benefits healthcare, diba? Sino yung mga extensions mo? Sino value flexible work arrangements, on-site daycare, sinasama yung mga bata sa offices, and work-life balance. And then the millennials, they expect technology-driven nakita nila application, what is the next step, which of they are going to be endorsed. Ayan, yan. Just because I want to know the status, di po ba? They love feedback. Ideal workplace, help them understand that on how it makes people's lives, industries, or the large a better place. So they also like working remotely if their jobs and responsibilities could be completed outside the office. Lalo po kung mag-i-email lang din naman siya sa office, tapos lahat ng transactions niya ay online, and the person could say, I have a stable internet connection at home, I could do everything at home na hindi maapektuhan yung work, so they would value that as well. So they care about performance quality and judge their managers by the content of their work. In turn, they want to be judged not for their hours in the office, but for their results. And they value career development, opportunities, as well as other benefits that prioritize the work-life balance. Gen Z, okay? Employers should build a strong brand across digital platforms. Bakit? Kasi itong mga Gen Z na to, paano yun nag-a-apply? Hindi na po yan tumitingin sa newspaper, classified ads. Saan ang tingin yan? Sa social media, sa website ng mga company, sa LinkedIn, sa platforms na merong mga online application. Pag nakita nilang maganda ang promotion ng university na yan or ng school na yan, and they see, may job opening dito, hindi na yan magpupunta para magsasubmit ako ng resume ko unless otherwise told by the school or the institution. Kadalasan ay online, submit it online, and they will be getting information when they check on the website. And mga tech-savvy po ito, so talagang advanced yan kapag nag-search sila. So they look for stable opportunities. Makikita naman natin all throughout, they want stable opportunities. And while at work, they may prefer some flexibility and the opportunity to add inputs on process improvement. Also, they want to participate in highly collaborative management relationships, and they look to management to establish a strong overall mission and set example to help them learn and grow. Important po yung mga capacity building, trainings, seminars, workshops that these people could be actively put into. Yung mga teachers natin, sana po ay kayo ay nakaka-experience na pag-a-attend din kayo ng mga trainings, tapos hindi nyo iniisip na, ay may klase ako, kaya magkaklase ako habang nagwe-webinar ako. O kaya I hope you experience na 3-day capacity building na talagang intensive yung training. That's the only thing you have in your mind. Right? Kasi hindi tayo gaanong matututo kung hindi tayo nakafocus sa ating mga ginagawa. And these people from the generation would really value because they believe that they will be growing. Yung mga certificates po, kailangan ko talaga yan. Lalo po sa panahon ngayon, lagi natin hinahanap asan yung certificate, asan yung proof mo. Dapat nagle-level up ka palagi, di po ba? The continuing professional development. Kaya nga po tayo nag-engage sa mga ganito because lalo po sa ibang mga professions, the CPD points, pag nagre-renew po tayo ng ating mga license, di po ba? Hinahanapan din tayo ng mga certificates. That's why we are in need of those things as well. Pero tandaan po natin, it's not only the certificates that we have to present. Those certificates should be getting along with all the things and new learnings and knowledge that we have. At hindi lang po ba tayo basta-basta nag-a-attend. We make sure that we learn from it. So, employee benefits, workplace flexibility. is most sought after for this group. So, as you could notice, there could be similarities as to what could attract people. There could also be differences in that. So ito po, meron silang mga characteristics and under which would be some differences. Tignan po natin itong mga signature product o sa traditionalist, automobile o may kotse, yan, value nila yan. Sa mga baby boomers, television, di po ba? Kagandahan ng TV noon, colored, yung iba black and white, ayan. Then, on the next, for the Gen X, personal computer. For Gen Y, tablet or smartphone. And for the Gen Z, Google Glass, graphene, nano computing, 3D printing, driverless cars. Di po ba pa-advance ng pa-advance? Ayan yung mga gusto nilang possessions. Communication media, ito formal letter, ito telephone. Gen X would be email and text message. Gen Y would be text or social media. O sa Gen Z, mas advanced, handheld or integrated into clothing or other forms of communication devices. So ganun din po sa communication preference. The traditionalists love face-to-face, baby boomers face-to-face, but telephones or emails if required. Gen X text message or email. Gen Y online and mobile or text messaging. Gen Z FaceTime o kaya etong kagaya nito, Zoom, di po ba? Other platforms. So you could see there are differences with those. And mind the gap, managing the 5 generations in the workplace. Just a summary of what we have discussed. Traditionalists believe in hierarchical management style. They have a strong work ethic and loyal to their company. They are slow to adapt to new technology. Baby boomers, more reserved in communication style. They value traditional instruction-led courses or self-learning tools. The qualities for a manager are being ethical, fair, and consistent. Gen X, they view change as a vehicle for opportunity. They embrace a hands-off management policy, an entrepreneurial spirit, and results-oriented. Millennials are looking to be coached or mentored. They prefer collaborative and technology-centric training. Aligning with company values is the key. And then for Gen Z, they are accustomed to change. At the same time, they expect it in the workplace. They also value in-person interactions and they look for feedback on a frequent, ongoing basis. Now, why millennials and Gen Zers are rejecting the current model of work? So, a survey had been conducted by Adobe of 5,500 workers globally. They found that this global voluntary exodus is being driven mostly by the youngest workers, the Gen Z and the millennials. And according to this study, 35% of enterprise workers in countries such as the United States, Japan, France, Australia said they plan to switch jobs in the next year. And those numbers were even higher for employees earlier in their careers. Among millennials, 49% plan to look for a new job, and for Gen Z, it was 56%. So what's the main reason why they jobs? So here are their answers. First is that they experience pandemic burnout and they want more work-life balance. So kayo po ba, naramdaman niyo po ba na ay ayoko na, punong-puno na ako, pagod na ako? Class record, lesson plans, accreditation documents, paggawa ng outcome-based syllabus, ano pa po ba? Other format, updated format, pati yung ating mga profile ay ina-update, yung pag-ayos ng ating mga bulletin boards, yung mga gawin natin mga teachers, pag-prepare ng visual aids natin. right? At pagharap sa mga student, those are a lot. Magtuturo ka, for example, 8 to 5. May klase ka. The work doesn't there. Kasi mag-check ka ng papers, magpe-prepare ka pa ng exam, magre-record ka pa ng mga nachilikan mo. Right? And remember, you still have a life aside from work. Di po ba? And sometimes, of course, it has an effect in our psychological aspect. That's why some people tend to feel irritable. Some people feel that they want to withdraw or isolate themselves from the external environment because they would just focus on doing their task. What else? Others, they develop a poor relationship with their family members because when they are already at home, they are already tired or they might still continue working at home. O lalapit lang yung anak, sisigawan. Bakit? Because the stress and the tiredness are being displayed on a lesser threatening object, which is the child. O, laging nag-aaway ng jowa. Bakit? Kasi pagod na, kasi gutom na. They do no longer have time for each other very well kasi nga, they are very tired from work. Maybe you are experiencing those or others could be experiencing that at the same time. So, according to a survey by the Finery report, 83% of the millennials reported that working overtime was the norm for them and that nearly 70% regularly work on weekends. So kayo po ba, papaano? Kahit po ba Sunday nagtatrabaho kayo? Or kahit gabing-gabi na? In my case po, yes, I also do that. Kayo po ba? You could share your answers in the chat box. Ayan, making lesson plans daw. Totoo naman po yan. So, paano po yung iba? I would like to also know your thoughts on this. Yes, di po ba? Ayan, no, parang walang katapusang trabaho. Tapos, preparing instructional materials, tama po yan, ano. Lalo na, no, nung bigla tayo nag-online, tas nag-shift uli. Siyempre, there are also changes with the teaching resources that we are utilizing. We have to upgrade and upgrade it. Making reports. Okay, that's right. Tama po yan. Kasi ang dami nating reportorial documents din naman po sa totoo lang. Di po ba? I know you could agree with me because we share the same sentiments as educators as well. Yes, minsan no, the paperworks will really consume most of our time. Di po ba? Dumadagdag pa sila dun sa pagtuturo natin. Preparing video and slide presentations, I also agree with that. Lalo kung very meticulous ka sa mga presentations mo, no? Kung gusto mo, ganito yung itsura, ganito yung pictures, work overload. That's right. I conducted survey or a research just recently, which I presented in international conference. It's about the level of procrastination of freshman psychology students and the reasons for procrastination. So my respondents are the freshman students of our university in the Department of Psychology. And the reasons after the results were conducted, I have seen there that the major reasons for them is they feel overwhelmed with the too much task. That's why they procrastinate. Aside from that, it was found in the study that they procrastinate because of laziness. They also procrastinate because they are having poor decisions because they do not know what to include in the subjects or in the things that they have to prepare or work on with. And also they experience peer pressure, stress and anxiety, and low self-confidence because of not being sure of what to write. And they also procrastinate because of the poor time management. Ayan. So I see answers here. Bago daw umuwi ay tinatapos na sa school kasi bebe time na daw sa gabi. Ayan. Baka mahirap na, baka dumagdag pa po sa mga matandang binata. Ayan si Sir Arnold. Ayan. And then here from another participant, thinking of various motivation activities for the students. Yeah, that's really challenging because we do not want to be monotonous, di po ba? Gusto natin, when we present ourselves, we have something brand new to show to our students. It's not the same usual task that we do. At bawat section din, di ba, we really adjust how are we going to present the lessons to the students? Because the students have different levels of motivation. They have different levels of understanding as well. Okay? So, it's nice to see your answers, no? We could really connect and we could really relate. O, gagawa tayo ng IMs. Sa isang teacher, minsan 6 na IMs ang gagawin at pare-parehas ang deadline. So, paano po yun? Di po ba? So, stressing, it's really overwhelming, right? So according to the 39% of the workers of all ages blame the work culture at their companies for their long workdays. Syempre, administrators, they are responsible how they would like this. Ayan. O, if you have 6 teaching loads daw, hindi kayang magawa lahat ng checking of activities, recording lang magagawa. Well, that's really true. Diba? Ayan. We can do our job but often our ASAP, urgent o lalo, no? Rush yung ating mga boss. Rush yan ha. O ASAP, urgent. O sabi natin, time management, prioritize. Eh lahat nandoon sa top priority, no? Paano po yun? Di po ba? So, that's really challenging. So, this means that companies that want to retain workers or snap up top talent in the reshuffle have an opportunity to re-examine their culture and create one that would work better. So, what can be done when you're managing this? Ayan, more supervisors, additional work to teachers. Okay? So, further, you could offer flexible schedules. So, sa teaching, sinasabi natin, paano pong flexible? May time in, time out. O, maging considerate din naman po tayo. Kung bibigyan po natin ng masyadong late natapos ng klase ang isang teacher, o halimbawa, kasi po sa amin sa university, may night classes kami until 9 p.m. Sana naman kinabukasan ay hindi po 7:30 ng umaga, lalo kung malayo po ang biyahe. Para naman, at least kahit papano, there's a flexibility, di po ba? Kahit in other universities or in other schools, o straight ka na ng ganitong oras, there could be flexibility as well kung paano. Kaya tayo rin sa ating mga sarili. Okay, kailan ka mag-discuss, kailan ka magpapa-activity, tapos kailangan i-ano mo rin yun sa mga sections mo or sa mga klase mo. Kaya mo ba na sa isang buong araw, dire-diretsyong lecture ka nang wala kang break sa mga sections mo? Lahat ba yan sabay-sabay ng lectures? Lahat ba yan sabay-sabay ng activity? We also have to be wise about it. Kasi we also have to take good care of our health. And then help employees set clear work-life boundaries. Ayan. Ang daling sabihin pero ang hirap gawin. Lalo yung mga teacher, no? Alam na alam natin that we really love our work. Right? Ay, hindi pa ako tapos. Gagawin ko muna to. I-deliver ko kasi po to sa klase ko eh. I have to present this to the class. I have to discuss this. We always think about that. Kahit inuubo ka na, kahit kinakapos ka na ng hininga, priority mong ma-deliver ng maayos ang lessons mo. Di po ba? We have that in our heart, especially if what you're doing is what you're really passionate about, right? But always remember, you have to do work-life boundaries. So you have to have time for rest, you have to have time for relaxation, and you have to have time to reset your mind. You think about what you really intend, what you really plan to. Are you just working because you want to earn? Are you just working because you have no choice? Or are you working because you love what you're doing? Then you have to make an assessment of those as well. Tanungin nyo rin po yung mga sarili nyo at kamustahin nyo rin po yung mga sarili ninyo. Create connection and foster culture. So with different age groups, so culminating activities, aside from meetings and task works, of course, interaction with different age group could really help a good camaraderie. When people work together, they tend to know each other. When they tend to know each other, they would be more flexible in adapting to how they would like to treat or how they would be dealing with this person belonging to different age groups. Kahit mas bata pa yan, kahit mas matanda pa yan, or kahit kaidaran mo lang yan. So, managing multi-generational workplace, work on your employee value proposition, fine-tune your inclusive hiring process, hindi nagdi-discriminate. Pero syempre, di po ba, alam naman natin yung mga requirements or capacities na dapat kino-consider natin sa age. Kasi mga work naman talaga na very age sensitive. Okay? Then we create learning opportunities. We cater to different communication styles. So we could set like what do we want to carry out at this point, o mag-release pa tayo ng memo, may memo tayo, tapos may text message pa tayo for reminders. So mapagbibigyan natin lahat, yung mga gusto na may memo at yung gusto na may text. Ayan. Okay, or Russian leaders, tama naman po, they really procrastinate in some ways. Kahit naman tayo, di ba? We sometimes procrastinate. We clarify and reiterate expectations. We nurture an inclusive environment at work. Mahirap po na kung sa environment mo sa workplace ay hindi mo pa kasundo yung mga kasama mo. Imagine you have a stressful work already kasi overloaded ka na, tapos kaaway mo pa yung mga kasama mo, and that will be an added burden. Di po ba? Of course, we have to maintain a harmonious working relationship with our colleagues as well. And then, nurture an inclusive environment at work. We have to consider that we are different in some ways, but we value inclusiveness. And then we clarify expectations of these people. We try to accommodate diverse working styles and needs. Remember, different behaviors, different people, different characteristics, different needs, different priorities. Hindi naman po lahat talaga magtutugma. But how are we going to adjust and how are we going to handle this would be most important. Okay? That's why the strategies should be also flexible to cater the needs of everyone regardless of their age group. And we have to combat bias and stereotypes. We also collect feedback from the people that we encounter. So, with that discussion, I want to wrap it up with this quote from Dr. Candace Steele Philippine. Differences enrich the workplace. What we want to do is understand the values behind them, so that we can have better working relationships moving forward. So with that, I hope you are enjoying dealing with the different people in your workplace and you are learning as you go along with interacting with these people.